Hey everybody, it's Mr. Sneak Eater coming at you with some Dragon Ball actually. Yeah, you thought you wouldn't be hearing about this ever since I finished Infinite World, huh? Actually, I finished Dragon Ball GT recently and I am going to talk about the shows. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT. In order. I mean, that's how I saw them, and so why not talk about them in order? Anyway, Dragon Ball, out of the 3 series, is my favorite actually. I found that it had, in general, better action. I mean, you could actually see some of the stuff that was being done in general, like some of the punching kicks. While now in Dragon Ball Z, you get the invisible, that crap where you couldn't see it, like where you could actually see punches like that. You could actually see them being performed. Well, in Dragon Ball Z and GT, they really underrate those kind of attacks. I mean, I like to see Kai Blast and all, like the Kamehameha, but I'd also love to see good old-fashioned punches. And it's just that you see more of that in Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball, than you do in Dragon Ball Z and GT, and that's what I like about it. But that's not all what Dragon Ball was about. I mean, it was pretty entertaining watching them go for the Dragon Balls. I mean, it's got to be the funniest out of the 3 shows. And that's really saying something. I mean, in Dragon Ball Z and GT, they had their humor moment, but you want to go to the best out of the 3, go to Dragon Ball. It had the best humor in it. And that's what it like. Now, some of the problems, let's see. Some of the problems, like, sometimes it can comedically, the humor can make plot holes. Like, in one episode, Goku takes this monster carrot that turned people into a carrot by touching it to the moon. Well, that's pretty funny and comedic, but you don't know if that guy survived when Master Roshi blows up the moon. Oh, he blows up the moon alright, he does. And then, another problem I have with it is that there's no actual real martial arts in it. I mean, I've taken Taekwondo before, and what was I watching in Dragon Ball? Because that's not martial arts. I mean, at first, I wasn't really expecting much martial arts. Like, Gohan trained Goku. That's for sure. Grandpa Gohan, not the kid Gohan. Actually, yeah, that's one thing I do hate about Dragon Ball. I mean, that it's underrated. Actually, I don't think that's really something you can hate. Whatever. Contradict myself, why don't I? Anyway, Dragon Ball is underrated, and I doubt many people even know some of the characters. I mean, does anyone even know who General Blue or, let's see, Jackie Chung is? Those are interesting questions. How about Nam? Do any of you guys even know those guys? I mean, I love these characters a lot more, and I love Nan, I love Suno, I love Ader. They're just great characters. Now, getting back on the topic, Grandpa Gohan is actually Goku's grandpa, as the name implies, and he named his son after him. Yeah. Anyway, Grandpa Gohan trained Goku, and like the first saga, it's actually them just searching for the Dragon Balls. Like, Bulma, she pops up, she has 2 other Dragon Balls, and Goku had the 4-star one. And they're searching for all the other ones, and along the way they meet various villains, and like Yamcha! Oh my gosh, Yamcha! My gosh, he is greatly underhanded in Dragon Ball Z and GT. Like practically, he's only used for comedic purposes, and they're not really that funny in Dragon Ball Z. And GT, he doesn't even show up except for like a few cameo appearances here and there. I mean, I don't even think he gets a single line. think Chaozu gets more maligned than Yamcha in GT. And in Dragon Ball, he's actually a warrior. It's not like he's this pathetic guy that can't do anything. He's actually a warrior, but he's also hilarious as well. I mean, here's his here's Bulma's reasoning for gathering the Dragon Ball so she can wish for the perfect boyfriend. When Yamcha figures this out, his reasoning for it to get the perfect girlfriend. Well, you guys can see what that. I mean, early on, I knew that Yamcha and Bulma were gonna hook up, but really, they just flat out spelled it out that Yamcha and Bulma were going to hook up. I mean, if you've never seen Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball GT, actually Dragon Ball GT wouldn't inform you on any of this. But if you've never seen Dragon Ball Z, it's pretty obvious. I mean, that's one thing, it's a pretty obvious spots like that. But the comedic value in it is hilarious, along with the action value. I mean, Yamcha is actually pretty tough in the show. Where in Dragon Ball Z, he dies in like, what, the first battle he's actually in? Are you kidding me? You know, so does everyone else. Goku dies in the first battle he's in. Tien dies in the first battle he's in. Yamcha, Chaozu, they all die in the first battles they're in. Piccolo and Gohan are the only ones who don't die in the first battle they're in. And this isn't including filler stuff. I mean, if you include filler, there's not the first battle, but first major battle. And here, they're actual warriors. I mean, Krillin shocked me in the show because he actually stood up to Piccolo Jr. during the Piccolo Jr. saga. He actually gave him a run for his money. Krillin. The guy that is arguably said to be the weakest Dragon Ball Z, one of the weakest Dragon Ball Z characters there is, stood up to Piccolo. I want you to take that in, I want you to take that in. I had to take it in because I was shocked at it. And Tien and Chaozu, I mean, they were always the tough guys, but seriously, but the worst part about Dragon Ball itself got to be the King Piccolo saga. This is when it becomes Dragon Ball Z. They get rid of the comedic humor. They get rid of the powerhouses. I mean, Tien Shinhan, he's just like, one minute he's the tough guy. He beat Goku. He beat Goku in a fair fight. The next minute, he's getting beat up by a guy named Drum. Are you kidding me? This guy, Tien, beat Goku. And he's getting beat up in the next major battle he's in. And Goku beats up Drum like he's nothing. Like, all because he just drank some water. Bull crap. I liked it better when Goku actually had to work at getting what he wants instead of just like drinking water. I mean, that's like a major plot point there. Like, in one point he has trying to search for this water that would make him stronger. He drinks it and and then he gains the magical ability to sense Kai. Yeah, it's not like they actually trained to do that. It just happens. Actually, that is one problem in Dragon Ball. It's that you really don't see anything happen. Like, in Dragon Ball, one thing I was really hoping for them to explain was, why can't the dragon bring people back twice? Well, that's actually not explained in Dragon Ball, but explained in Dragon Ball Z, which I'll get to. But they never explained that. I mean, when Yamcha and Krillin first used the Kamehameha wave, you don't see them training to use it. They just happen to know it. Kind of like how Goku also knew the Sword of Flare technique. When Tien used his multi-form technique, I mean, they never show any training, and sometimes that really did make some good battles, like Jackie Chung versus Goku. I mean, that one is one of my favorites in the Dragon Ball series. It really is. It's one of the better ones. Look it up. And the power these guys have early on is pretty amazing. The last thing I gotta say, probably the ending to Dragon Ball. Like, it's not the official ending to the whole Dragon Ball series, but I don't like the ending to Dragon Ball. Like, the last episode, it already states, the story continues in Dragon Ball Z. my gosh, could you come up with a more cornier way to like end the series? I guess not even ending the series. It's like, hey guys, we're just gonna say this series is over, just then adding a Z to the title, and it's a new series. Bull crap! It's still the same series. It's still Dragon Ball. I think when they did it with GT, it makes sense because there's no like manga counterpart, and Dragon Ball Z actually is over. But with Dragon Ball Z, I don't understand why they added the Z in. And Dragon Ball Z seriously overrates itself, while Dragon Ball is seriously underrated because of, I mean, just why? If Dragon Ball Z were called Dragon Ball, a lot more people would know about Dragon Ball itself, and it would make it a lot better. I would really love to see that. Anyway, I think it's time we talk about Dragon Ball Z now. Take it over, Anti-Snake Eater. Thank you, Mr. Snake Eater. You're a wonderful man, you're a great guy, and your mother's a whore. Let's get started. Dragon Ball Z. Argumentatively, one of the best animes in history. It has been fan favorite for everyone. In fact, when you speak of anime, that's probably like the first thing you think of is Dragon Ball Z. In my personal opinion, and Mr. Snake Eaters, and the rest of the Snake Eater crew actually, we all come to a unanimous decision, which is ironic because I'm supposed to be like what, the opposite of Mr. Snake Eater. I'm called Anti. That Dragon Ball, that we all like Dragon Ball the best, Dragon Ball Z the second best, and Dragon Ball GT the third best. And let's get started. Dragon Ball Z takes place 5 years after Dragon Ball. Okay, seriously, why is it called Dragon Ball Z? Why not just keep the Dragon Ball title? For the love of Pete, why? Anyway, the story starts off with a mysterious man coming from space. And he goes over to Goku's at Kami House, and he tells Goku his origins and what he is. Like, he's a Saiyan from outer space. Now, I gotta say that the early going of Dragon Ball Z is my favorite part. Like, the Saiyan saga, that is my favorite part. I mean, you got 32 episodes that are, majority are probably just filler. My gosh, that was actually pretty entertaining. I mean, the Saiyan Saga's filler is probably one of the best in the entire series. I mean, so much is just not really actually there. And at the same time, it's all entertaining. Ugh. Anyway, I like the early going of Dragon Ball Z. I did not particularly like the Dragon Ball Z fighting style where they don't really show too much actual fighting, but keep that in. Not the real punches, like, I really like that. But then again, they never really even had that in Dragon Ball either. I mean, they never had any, like, I mean, when Master Roshi showed up, he really he didn't train him for martial arts. He did train him by delivering milk. That granted was like along a countryside, but still, while wearing 50-pound turtle shells. I mean, granted, Master Roshi's exercises were not meant to train you in martial arts, but to make you get stronger. And this is true. I mean, Goku's always known how to make himself stronger. That's what I like about Goku in this Dragon Ball Z. This is really apparent. Actually, Dragon Ball Z is known for its fight scene, but ironically, there's so little fighting compared to talking. I mean, honestly, how many times have you honestly watched the show and you're like saying, "Where to fight? Where to fight?" I didn't come here to listen to you talking. I came here to watch the fight. I mean, how many there are like that have actually seen the show? I've seen it beginning to end from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z. And it's interesting. I mean, there's more talking than fighting. One thing I gotta say though, when you get to the Frieza saga, I have to actually warn you. I mean, the concept of Frieza kind of scared me. I mean, Frieza himself, the way he acted, how he acted, it's kind of scary to see an actual guy like that. The fear of that really didn't really last after Frieza died. I mean, no other character besides Fat Boo has actually made me scared. I mean, Fat Boo, he turns everyone in a city to candies and eats them. That's scary. I mean, But then you get Cell. I mean, he's not really that scary. I mean, he's just looking to test his power when he gets it. I mean, and his goal was to get the androids. I haven't really seen him done anything too scary besides blow up the planet, which has been like done how many times in this show? Actually, that started all the way back with King Piccolo. I mean, King Piccolo was the first one to actually attempt to destroy the planet, while everyone else just tried to rule it. I mean, Vegeta in the Saiyan Saga, he really wanted Dragon Ball to become immortal, along with Frieza. In fact, Frieza's the last villain to go after the Dragon Balls. Unless you count Dr. Mew. Well, Frieza's the last main villain to go after the Dragon Balls. And so his only goal was to like absorb the androids. I mean, well, actually, the Cell battle was the only one that made me pump up to see what would happen next. Like, in all of Dragon Ball, and in most of Dragon Ball Z, Cell is the only one that made me pump up to see what happened. Like, I wanted to watch. I was into it. I didn't want to, like, when the episode ended, I wanted to click on the next one as soon as possible. That's how I want. Well, during the Cell battle. And I thought I would feel the same way during the Majin Buu battle, but to be perfectly honest, the show's starting to go downhill at the Majin Buu battle. I mean, people complain about GT being bad, but honestly, look at Majin Buu's saga. I mean, it isn't the best saga out there. And it's like, it's just going downhill. Like, Dragon Ball, it tried to go downhill during the King Piccolo saga, and that's the start of the Dragon Ball Z fight styles. I mean, granted, the Piccolo Jr. saga, I lied. The Piccolo Jr. saga got me pumped up to see what happened next. So officially, that makes one for each saga, for each show. That there was a battle that got me pumped up to see what happened next. And that's what's good about Dragon Ball Z. It's that you might get pumped up to watch some of the battle, but the majority of them, I didn't feel like I got pumped up to watch them. And one of my favorite characters, Kid Buu, is greatly underplayed. I mean, in the games, he is one of the toughest opponents in the games. And any of them, I mean, in Infinite World, I was like shivering and quivering in fear of actually fighting him in the tournament. I mean, you guys remember that, like in the final episode of Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Z Infinite World, like the 4-parter episode. And really, in the show, he greatly underplayed. I mean, besides blowing up a few planets, I mean, actually that's the only thing major he actually did, is just blow up planets. Like, he blew up 3 of them before making it to Otherworld. And in the manga, he actually followed immediately to the Kai World, so the only planet in the manga he blew up was Earth, which had no life on it because Super Bill killed everyone on it. And then he's reincarnated into Oob. And Goku goes and trains Oob. Okay, are you kidding me? That's how you decide to end the show? If with Goku training Oob? I mean, you know what? Have this spirit bomb just throw down and kill Buu. That would have been a much better ending. Like, Goku hoping Buu to come back as a better person. That would have been a much better ending than him just going off to training Oob. I mean, out of all the shows, I mean, everyone complains about GT's ending, but look, I mean, Dragon Ball Z doesn't have much of a better ending itself. I mean, actually, none of the shows have any good endings. I mean, Dragon Ball, continue to Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z, we're gonna train Oob, we're not gonna show you anything else about him. Screw you, Atari Toriyama, for that one. And GT, we're gonna make it sure that there's no possible way we can continue this series, and if we're going to go with the Goku Jr. crap nearly 100 years later. Are you kidding me? They honestly could, 3 shows, and they could honestly not get the ending right on either one of them. Are you freaking kidding me? It's a joke, really. 3 shows, and all of their ending kind of suck. Well, I'm done for this one. Please go to the Pharaoh for Dragon Ball GT. Hey, it's me, the Pharaoh guy. Remember me? It's been a while since I showed up in a video, actually. I gotta do another What Doesn't Belong soon. Anyway, here I'm gonna talk about Dragon Ball GT. And here I'm gonna say it's another underrated show. I mean, honestly, a lot more people complain about GT than any other of the three series. And to be perfectly honest, why? I mean, is complaining about it gonna make it better? I mean, there are people that literally just go onto like different websites that have GT titles on it, and they really just complain about it. I mean, it doesn't make much sense. Why are you doing it? Why are you constantly complaining? It's not gonna make it better. It's not gonna make Dragon Ball Z better. It's not going to make Dragon Ball itself better. It's not going to do anything to Dragon Ball. But everything I hate is probably when people say GT non-canon or not official to the timeline, and I just, yeah, you know what? I'm actually going to explain on how just stupid this actually is. Okay, so here at the timeline people are, oh, there we go. Okay, that people are asking for, like, they want GT to be like in this separate timeline, and they want Dragon Ball Z to be its own timeline. Yet, now let's really look at it. All the events that lead up to Dragon Ball GT, they're all the same, and yet they're all the same as the events in here. So, are you honestly telling me you rather prefer a possibility that GT or something even worse it's actually going to happen next? Are you kidding me? Are you guys really kidding me? I mean, anything can happen in this space right here. Anything. That includes Dragon Ball GT. So you guys telling me you would rather prefer just to believe that GT non-official to the timeline when really, what's that going to accomplish? Is it going to make Dragon Ball better? Is it going to make Dragon Ball GT better? Really? It's not going to do anything. It's just that, what's it going to do? Dragon Ball GT is official to the timeline. I mean, I don't really care what you say. Arturo Toriyama himself, he'll show a lot of support to it. I don't really care what you guys really have to say, because it's clear to me that even he considers it himself canon. And, well, now outside of that, GT is not as bad as people say. Believe me. Actually, if you want to do anything, I would suggest you watch the shows. Like, I recommend it. Watch Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT. I mean, Dragon Ball GT is not the best. Actually, it's the worst out of the three shows, but it's not a terrible show either. I mean, I found it entertaining. In fact, actually in GT, I was actually pumped to see the baby battle. I mean, that got me pumped up. Like, out of the three series, only one battle out of all three series actually ever got me pumped up to see what would happen next. And that was the King Piccolo for Dragon Ball, the Cell Games battle for Dragon Ball Z, and Baby battle for Dragon Ball GT. I mean, you got me pumped up to see that. I mean, yeah. I mean, it was around when Baby actually turned into a golden great babe. I mean, that's what I came to see. I mean, that's when I wanted to see what would happen next. Now then, actually, to get back slightly on topic, don't listen to what people have to say. I mean, GT, there is no middle ground. I mean, you're not gonna get people like me that just say it's an okay show or that it couldn't. But I mean, you're either gonna get a bunch of fangirls. There are no fanboys, believe me, just fangirls that are going to say GT is the best show ever and say there's no problems. There are problems with it. and then you're gonna get hated that, quite frankly, have no reason to even hate GT. I mean, they just nitpick everything, and it's just a bandwagon. I mean, 50 years from now, GT is probably going to become very popular. I mean, it's happened before with unpopular stuff. GT is going to become probably a very popular show 50 years from now. Another thing I hate when people say GT logic. I mean, the show, there's only two or three, yeah, kind of three incidents where I said GT logic, and that was when Baby, the main bad guy for like the majority of the show, I mean, he got more screen time than all the other bad guys, was using a move called the Revenge Death Ball, which is kind of like a negative spirit bomb, and he used it on Goku. Well, it hits Goku, and they don't explain it to like an episode later, but he somehow manages to get into a space called Shakiro space, a game dimension. Literally, that's what it is, a game dimension. That was a red light just went on my head, and WTF, what just happened? An ultra powerful move causes Goku not to die, but to go to another dimension. It's later revealed that Kabuto Kai came in and teleported him, but due to the explosion of the Revenge Death Ball, caused him to send Goku to another dimension on accident, a dimension where the Kais have no power. Another incident where I said GT logic was when Goku was literally afraid to jump through a slow-moving fan. A fan that I could jump through. And then the other incident when he's running away from Nobuo Shinron. I'd say that the first two sagas in GT are the best sagas. I would recommend those two the most. I mean, I was really expecting the Black Star Dragon saga to be like the worst out of the four, but I actually quite enjoyed it a lot. And the Baby saga is actually my favorite out of this bunch. I mean, the Shadow Dragons and the Super 17, they're underrated. They're underrated, yeah, but they're not really played to the full potential either. I mean, when I saw this Super 17, you know how many episodes he appears in? 5. 5 episodes. To anyone, Super 17 should have gotten more screen time. Actually, in general, some of the stuff I found that I missed from Dragon Ball Z was anything with the filler. I mean, just that other stuff that extended the show. I mean, that would have made GT a lot better if they used the stuff like the filler. I mean, that would have made it a lot better. Then, oh, by the way, GT is not considered filler itself, according to the Dragon Ball wiki and the Dragon Ball staff. It turns out that filler, you need original work. Like, if I were to make a cartoon series out of the book, whatever I add on to the book would be considered filler. But if there's no book to add on to, then yeah, it wouldn't be considered filler. What I would have liked to see more filler stuff to be added in, I should say. That would have really made the show better and extended it too. I mean, the whole show is 64 episodes long. It doesn't even reach 100. I mean, Dragon Ball reaches 100. Dragon Ball Z reaches to nearly 300. Dragon Ball GT doesn't even reach the 100 mark. Actually, originally the show was only supposed to end at the Baby Saga, which is around 42 episodes. Oh my gosh. My gosh, when people say Dragon Ball GT sucks, they obviously are ignoring the Japanese fanbase, because you know Japan had to like it if they extended the saga by two sagas. They extended the series by 2 sagas. It's the Japanese fanbase. Now one problem with GT I have is how short the sagas are, actually. I mean, again, Super 17, 5 episodes. No, literally. It's not like he shows up in like 10. No, that's how many episodes he's in. It's 5. 5. Are you kidding me? He is also the shortest named saga in the entire series to have a name after him. Like, yeah. Just seriously, 5 episodes? What were they thinking? I mean, yeah, they really should have extended it. It's like the Shadow Dragon. Each dragon got about 1 episode, with the exception of like one who got 2 episodes. You know what? The Shadow Dragon should have been like one of them should have been called the Shadow Dragon Saga, and the Raid Shinron or the Oceanic Shinron Saga. They did it with the Red Ribbon Army. Like, back in Dragon Ball, one saga called the Red Ribbon Army. Then the General Blue Saga showed up. That's one of my favorite sagas, but the General Blue Saga. And General Blue is not even the main bad guy of the Red Ribbon Army. So then, each dragon is underplayed as well. One of the dragons should have been given its own saga, and then Omega Shinron should have been given the Omega Shinron Saga or the Nova Shinron Saga. Actually, that's one problem I have. The saga names. The Black Star Saga, that is fair. The first 15 episodes of the Black Star Saga, or the Black Star Saga, Black Dragon Ball Saga, or the Black Star Dragon Ball Saga. There we go. I can't believe how many times I messed that one up. Then you get the Baby Saga, which really isn't the Baby Saga, it's the Dr. Mew Saga. It's more focused around Dr. Mew. In the end, it revealed Baby. That's when the Baby Saga should have started. But no, Dr. Mew doesn't even get his own saga. The Baby Saga starts off when they decide to go to M2. One thing I really like about the show is how they really do connect it. Like, when I said that the 2 Dragon Ball shows, that the 2 timelines would have everything in common, I really meant that. There's only about 2 parts that probably have different timelines, and that's the when Vegeta and Goku fuse, and when Cooler shows up, and I think he's just a cameo appearance. Anyway, when I said these 2 timelines are practically the same, they really are. They really didn't make much crap up themselves. They really revert back to the old shows. They really show you old shows. Anyone who said that Dragon Ball GT doesn't have anything to do with the original manga is fooled themselves and haven't actually seen the show. They even remembered that 18 and 17 removed the bombs. Like, when I first heard that, I was thinking that, oh boy, they forgot that. No, then Goku has a flashback, and then realizes that she's bluffing. My gosh, they really did actually take the time and effort to connect it with past events. Like, Baby is with the Toughness Saga. He makes perfect sense. Super 17, he also makes sense. You also have every single bad guy. It's not like they just made up bad guys from hell. Unlike Fusion Reborn, where they made up a dictator. That Goten and Trunks fight. Why? Why did they really have to fight the dictator? Why didn't they fight more movie villains? In Fusion Reborn, you have everybody. Everybody from the show bad guys to the movie bad guys. And yet, you never see them fight. Well, in this 17 saga, you actually do see these guys fight. It's very interesting, actually. And then you get the Shadow Dragon Saga. This also fits in because it's from the Path of Wishes. Anyone who said this show that Dragon Ball GT ignores events from the old show obviously has never seen Dragon Ball GT themselves. Because there's just too much that actually has to happen from the old show. Again, these can't be separate timelines because, well, they can be, but again, it just go back to you really just want to have the possibility of something worse, or, yeah. Get that crap again. And it's just that, I don't know, I really like GT. It's underplayed, yeah, but it's not the best out of the 3. Dragon Ball, it just kept on going downhill from as the 3 series continued. Dragon Ball, I saw the effects of Dragon Ball not really being that great in the King Piccolo saga. The Piccolo Jr. saga picked up, but then it kind of just started going back downhill when Dragon Ball Z started up. I'm not saying these are bad shows. No, heck, they're all great shows. I would recommend you watch them all. Just watch them in order, like, don't watch Dragon Ball Z GT then Dragon Ball. No, you're never gonna appreciate the show to the fullest extent if you do that. You're just gonna hate GT because honestly, you go up from honestly, it's just kind of a bit of a letdown from going from battle from like Kid Buu to searching for the Dragon Balls and Dragon Ball style. Actually, that wasn't much of a letdown. I mean, Kid Buu battle was a letdown, so the Black Star Saga wasn't that much of a letdown for me. Actually, it's actually one of my more favorite sagas. Anyway, I think that's the end of the video. I'm not going to be talking about Dragon Ball Z Kai. I mean, it's the exact same thing as Dragon Ball Z with a lot of filler taken out. So anyway, see you guys next time. See ya.